Good morning. We got woken up by the cops this morning, domestic dispute, so we're up nice and early. And it's too early to go buy another GoPro, which is what today's main plan was. We shoot all these videos on 2 GoPros. Every year I liquidate some of my camera assets and buy new cameras. I do this every year. I've done it every year for 100 years now. So we're gonna go get a second GoPro, Hannah's GoPro. But the Best Buy that we were gonna go get it at doesn't open for another hour. So look, there's a Goodwill across the street. Who knew?
Good.
I knew. That's why. That's why we came over here. So let's do that. Start at the Goodwill, and then we'll get the GoPro, and then we'll find something else to do. Stick around.
Alrighty, let's check out what the dishes section has in store for us today. They have a ton of mugs here, some edible arrangements. If you've never gotten an edible arrangement, you should I highly recommend sending one to yourself. They're very good. It looks like a Ray Dunn mug, but it is not. That's pretty cool. Aww, that's sweet. One with a little poem on it. Nothing I really need though.
Mom, where are you?
On to my favorite section, the glass baking section. It's quite a bit of cordingware here today. So beautiful. I want to have a cake in this all the time. So I always have cake. That's really the only point of it, but wouldn't it be pretty displayed in there? I think it'd be nice. Cranberry glass, it's pretty. That's a pretty nice piece. I'm trying to cool it on the cordingware a little bit though. I have sold a little bit in the last couple of days, so don't know the supply I have at my booth at the moment. It's good. I've sold a bunch of Spice of Life pieces, so I'm guessing someone was really trying to pad their collection. Oh, tiny strainer. So cute. It's so cute.
Here's an interesting piece. I don't know if I know anything about this. It looks old, but is that because it's just kind of discolored, or what's going on? Is that a place for action figures? It's very interesting. It's only $3. I think I need to find a date on it. Right here, 98. It's from 98. I think I'm gonna maybe get this. Not a bad little find. I've been selling a lot of Star Wars stuff at one of our antique malls, and I figure I'll put this beside an even larger R2-D2 I have at that antique mall. That'd be pretty cool. If nothing else, it'll look nice on a shelf, you think? Still too early to get into the Best Buy, so Goodwill number 2. Customizable lightsaber. $2, not bad at all. And then 3 pops. No idea if they're worth anything, but they're all really cheap. They're like $2 a piece, so might as well just get them.
So I have a ton of orders of Colorblock jeans to get out, and I'm actually a few pairs of light wash short of what I need. So these aren't a terrible price. $8, like more than I'd like to spend, and definitely get them cheaper at the bins. But at this moment, just need them. So I'm probably gonna get these. There's another pair here too. I might get these two. I'm gonna check the condition of them because they have to be perfect in order for me to use them. So we'll see. This is a very nice sight to see. Look at these cuties. A little flip waistband, so cute. And they're only $5. I'm pumped. That's a good sign. Very nice. Oh, they're a little ripped at the bottom. I guess that's not a huge deal. It is a bummer though, but well, I think we'll still get them because like that waistband is fire.
Wasn't too bad. Normally pops at Goodwills are like $5 a piece, and then when they're only worth $5 to $8 is not really worth it for that. But if they're $2, I'm gonna buy them no matter what they are and put them in our antique mall. Still 10 minutes before the Best Buy opens, so let's go next door. There's a Joanns fabric store, and we're also kind of in the market for a sewing machine, right?
Yes.
So let's go look at them. I don't know if we're gonna buy one today. We've got a lot of decisions to kind of consider first before we buy a sewing machine, but be assured sometime real soon on this channel you will see us buy some new sewing machines, maybe plural. So let's at least go window shopping while we wait for Best Buy to open up. That's the one you already have, right?
Yeah.
And then that's like a lighter duty version. We need to step up. Where's the next one?
Can I help you? Your needle. So if you want it to sew to the left, this will adjust it when it's on a straight stitch. And this is your thread tension.
Sewing machine shopping is not really an easy task. Even more so now than the last couple times we bought new machines over the last 10 years. It's way more complicated. There's just so many different brands, so many different options, and now most sewing machines come with all these fancy electronic options and extra embroidery options and lots of nice stuff. But we're kind of torn because what we're really looking for is a simple and powerful machine that can actually go on the road with us in the future. We want to invest in something now and don't mind to spend a little bit of extra money to get something that fits our needs for the future, but there's just so many options. So we're gonna spend some time over the next month kind of looking at like some other mom and pop boutique shops and just looking at some of the other brands. But it's a little bit stressful.
Yeah, a little bit.
Just so many options. But we'll keep you posted on that. We kind of have this dream of having a tall Sprinter van and a workbench in it with a sewing machine in the van, and park on the side of the road on our road trips and make custom order jeans and stuff while we travel. So, the machine we want to buy kind of has to fit that too. It's all, it all requires a big think. We got to think on it. But in the meantime, let's go to this Best Buy. Let's buy a camera at least today. Kind of would have been nuts if we went home with a camera and a sewing machine, but we're a little bit more sure about the camera. We need some more time to think on the machine. That's for 8. There she is. Oh yeah.
Get the one still on the cellophane.
Cool. All right. GoPro and GoPro Accessories. Now we're gonna go home and we're gonna talk a little bit about that. We're gonna talk about some camera stuff and some sewing stuff and good stuff. Stick around. See this backpack right here? This backpack has been all over the United States with me. Almost every continental of our 48 states. I haven't been able to go to Alaska and Hawaii yet. I hope to knock those out soon, but the rest of them, I've taken this backpack with me. And anywhere that I've taken this backpack, it has been full of cameras and camera gear. And since I bought a camera today, since there's a lot to talk about with that, I figured I'd just get my whole bag of cameras out and talk about them and why I have them and what I've done with them over the years. That may not sound interesting to all of you, but I think if you stick around, you might find this a little bit interesting, because there's a really long path of being a cameraman from where I started to where I am now making these YouTube videos. And I don't know how else to tell the story except for to show you all these cameras. And I've got quite a few. Some of them are valuable, some of them are not. Some of them at this point are just kind of worthless. So let's start with this. This probably looks like a piece of garbage to you, and it is. It's even taped together because I just keep this as a showpiece. When Hannah and I first met and I was really getting into filmmaking and things like that, I bought my first very expensive film camera here. And when I say film, I mean for shooting films, not that it takes film. This is a Blackmagic cinema camera, and it was the first camera that this company called Blackmagic made. It was very special to me, and I shot films on it, several films, culminating in a film where it fell in a lake in Nashville and ruined it, of course, but I kept it just to put on a shelf. But at the time it cost several $1,000s, and I thought that was just insane because I was 22, 23, and that $2,000 camera at that time cost more than my car did, and that was just, it was really hard to wrap my head around at the time. But I moved on from that, and actually after that I got to working on the road, which got me really into the profession of being a commercial videographer, and I upgraded to a $10,000 or so camera, which I don't have now. I sold it after a string of jobs, but I shot some films with that big, gnarly, menacing thing, and you know, that camera itself just being so beautiful and capable of shooting amazing movie grade images. You've watched several films in the theater that camera, that model of camera shot. It was called a Red Scarlet, and I miss it. I miss having such a fancy camera. But after going that route and being a professional videographer that had $100,000 worth of gear with them, I started to change towards a different avenue of video making, filmmaking. You know, making videos for hire still and for commercial, but not so pretty, but just like experiential. I started going on the road and going to events for companies and filming things like fairgrounds and just big events with lots of people. That became my specialty. And when you start shooting around tons and tons of people, your cameras start to need to get a little bit smaller so that you can kind of blend in. So I started moving towards two things. I started moving towards cameras that were still kind of big and pretty, but were modular, like this one. So there's a camera body in here inside of the metal cage with a lens, with a hood and a handle, and all of this can come down to just the camera, which is about this size, a little smaller if I want to, but it can also gear up and be much larger like this, and that's nice and that's fancy. And listen, I love shooting with this, but most of you are going to understand quite easily that I can't walk into Goodwill and film the stuff that we do with that camera. I wish I could. Our videos would look a lot different, they would look a lot prettier, but I can't do that. So what I started doing was shooting films with a camera that looked like this, because that doesn't need to be quite so incognito. But then I would shoot video projects for hire with cameras that look like this. And this is kind of nuts. I have 3 of these. And all 3 of these camcorders, they're Sony camcorders, all 3 of them are in various states of disrepair, of kind of functioning, but not. And that's because I have filmed thousands and thousands and thousands of hours of commercial work with these, and hundreds of hours more of some of our YouTube content has been shot with these. This one melted basically off of its tripod in Florida on a project. Fell off its tripod because the plastic on the bottom holding it to it melted, and it fell into a concrete slab sidewalk basically. And it'll still output via HDMI, so sometimes our live streams I still use this, just kind of hung up for a different angle, but it won't record. 2 more of them. This one is actually the newest one, and it will record, but it won't zoom in and out because this one also took a tumble. You can see the lens in there moving. It'll sit on a tripod and record or output. Now this one pretty much still functions, though it's not entirely reliable. So these, well, see, it actually comes on. And they're still useful cameras, but again, I'm not gonna run around Goodwill using those. So when I shot with this camera, I learned that I was capable of making beautiful images. This was all about visuals. It had abilities to shoot in colors that I didn't know existed, for lack of a better way to put it. And I appreciated my time with that. But once I realized I knew how to do that, I also realized that all the beautiful cameras in the world don't make story. And this YouTube channel wouldn't be nothing if I hadn't learned the skill sets that I have when it comes to telling a story. Every video I've ever made, I approach it from the standpoint of, how do I give you guys, the viewers, a beginning, a middle, and an end? And as great as this was, it and all of its add-ons that made it look like this were cumbersome, and oftentimes, though not always, they were antithetical to telling a story. They made telling a story more difficult. So when I got these camcorders, they removed a lot of that. They don't shoot the most beautiful images, but they streamline the experience of shooting. So I went from film, I went from beauty to, hey, let's move fast and let's tell a story adequately. So I went from shooting films with that to documentary, mockumentary style, quick, funny, witty, over the shoulder, think Office, things like. So I went from Christopher Nolan to The Office, or not really. I mean, I'm not comparing myself to Christopher Nolan, but I went from cinema to TV, or I don't know. But I stopped trying to make the most beautiful image, and I started just to try to tell the better story with these. And I think I'm very thankful to have stumbled across this process and finally ended up with this, because this allows me, I went and spent the money today on this that I didn't want to spend otherwise, so that I could better tell the stories that I want to tell when I make these videos. And honestly, to sum all this up, I am probably the most excited right now about traveling that I've ever been. Coronavirus, of course, makes this a little bit difficult. Like, it's kind of hard to just go hit the road right now, but for some reason, this camera right here and the other one that I'm shooting on this same camera right now just make me ecstatic about the thought of driving cross country, taking these with me. I don't have to take the time to plug all this up and get out of the van and shoot this and that. All I have to do is hit this button right here, and this thing records. And I can't wait to take you guys on the next trip and do that. I really said all this to say, well, hey, look at my history, but also to say, I can't wait to move forward and shoot more stuff and show it to you guys. So thanks for watching this far. Testing 1, 2, check. Check 1. Checking the audio. Whoa, I almost fell over. Hello?
I can hear you.
How well can you hear me?
Oh.
It probably hears me like I'm standing right next to the camera. Hello?
Oh my gosh, don't yell at it.
So something else we've been working on lately is acclimating these kitties to riding in the van in case we want to go on a day trip, a couple day trip around Arizona or something, thrifting in some local cities. They're doing all right. They don't like being taken out to the van, but once they're in here, they're okay. I mean, little Moo here actually likes kind of riding around and looking out the window and looking at stuff. Pants kind of hides. He doesn't really want to see it all, which is funny because he's the one that's always trying to run out the front door and go exploring at our complex. His curiosity for exploring extends only to the local cats. He wants to run around and meet the cats around our complex. Moo, though, I think she's gonna be our little adventurer. But Hannah's in the grocery store, so I'm just sitting out here with the cats, trying to assure them that this is okay, that this is allowed. Look at him. So what? There's just too much going on. Too much stimulation out here. No major disasters.
Hey, bud.
Just a lot of curiosity. This little one does not want to leave my lap.
She likes you protecting her.
Watch, I'll put her down. Watch. Boing!
Hey, buddy.
One more time. Boing! All right, I think that's going to be it for the day. The stuff we bought at the thrift, Hannah's already cut up the jeans. Is that a pair of them right there sewn together?
Yup. Whoops.
That's how that works. We buy jeans at the thrift, we come home, sew them together. And as you can see, we definitely need that new sewing machine. We have just worn that one out.
Yeah, it's like the plate on the bottom here has like little scratches on it from where the needle got like bent and then like hit the plate and broke, and yeah.
Yeah, it's just, it's time for another one or two. The pops that we bought weren't terribly valuable. I mean, they were worth the $2 we spent on them. I'll probably put $8 to $10 a piece on them, put them in our antique mall tomorrow or the next day. What else did I get? The lightsaber, I need about 10, 15 more of them, and then I can put a build your own lightsaber station in my antique mall. I'm looking forward to that. So that's probably my find of the day, because I need more of those. You don't really get to pick a find of the day.
I guess my jeans.
Were both the pairs of jeans you got for cutting up?
No, the other ones are pretty sweet. I'm pretty happy about those.
All right, awesome. Well, another day of thrifting, another day of adventuring. Come back tomorrow. I'm not sure what we're going to get into. Probably the bins. If not, the next day. Going to squeeze a bunch of Goodwill bins trips in this week like we did last week. And I'm excited for that. So make sure you're subscribed. Pretty please make sure you check some of the links out in our video's description. Tindo'sTrash.com. Go see what we're selling over there. Sometimes we buy stuff on this channel and put it up for sale over there. So if you ever see anything you like, check that out. Also, make sure those notifications are turned on, because we post videos every day. So I'd love for you to get a notification tomorrow and the next day, the next day, and the next day. And come back and hang out with us. And until the next time, guys, peace out.
You want to see my little visitor?
Your little visitor.
He's hanging out with me.
Oh, hello, Toby. Hi.
He's snoozing between the 2 foot pedals I need.
That's great. Okay, say bye, Pants.
Bye, buddy.
Bye. He does not care.
He's so tired.